Chapter 49. In the name of the strange sublime life. This, the glory and light of life, is to bring forth the spirit and soul from the body and to clothe the living soul in a living garment. Yea, she is soulless and liveth, the counterpart of life, she that emanated from a dimat of life, with the outer life, with Huraran and Kakuan Zua, with treasure of light, the solace and great support of life, with life that emanated from the life, and with the truth which existed of old in the beginning. They live in their Shekhness, and the great light abideth in its purities. When any human being departeth from his body, there come towards him 7 godlike appearances, and each standeth by his own, and Suriel, the releaser, cometh. He who releaseth spirit and soul from the body, up there with those works, he standeth with the vesture of Yazatak Manda Diahia, which releaseth the soul, and Huraran and Kakawan Zua remove from her that in her which is of the body, and she putteth on the dress of Yazatak Manda Dihia. Garment on garment she putteth on. She arrayeth herself in robe after robe, when she weareth the vesture of Yatsag Manda Dihia. There she laugheth, rejoiceth, leapeth for joy, danceth, exulteth, and is overjoyed about the glorious splendour resting upon her, and the glory that accrueth to her. Onward she goeth in the vesture of Yazatag Manda Dihia. The planets who are in their places were out of contentance. On seeing it, they clenched their fist, beat on the forecourt of their breast, and say, Woe on us, planets, for we, are powerless, but the works of their hands are victorious. And they say, How beautiful is this radiancy, how steadfast this light, how lovely this glory, and how wondrous this appearance. And they ask, Who will clothe us with this radiance? Who will cover us with this light? And who will shed on us this glory? And what is it that passeth before us in this guise? For it is fair, shining and bright. In this world nothing made can be compared to it. And they exclaim, How good is Kushta to the good, and Mandadihia to all his chosen, those who stand in their bodies and dedicate themselves to the name of the life and to becoming thus. She goeth on in this vesture of Yazatag Mandadihia, and they let those deeds of hers pass by and escape the hands of all the planets. And on she went and reached Abatha's house of detonation. Abatha, the ancient, lofty, holy and guarded one. There his scales are set up, and spirits and souls are questioned before him as to their names, their signs, their blessing, their baptism, and everything that is therewith. The soul of En hath entered the house of Abatha, and had given her name, her sign, her blessing, her baptism, and everything that is therewith. The souls of our fathers were signed with the sign of life, and the name of the life, and the name of mandean was pronounced over them. They put them in the scales, putting in their deeds and rewards, and weighed them. And the perfect went in also, the spirit with the soul, but they took them out, for they were clean. Radiance issued from the radiance of Abathar, and clothed them, and they brought light, and covered therewith. Like them, she, the soul, put on garment, and robe over robe, like the vestments of Abathar. There she laugheth, rejoiceth, leapeth for joy, danceth, exulteth, and is overjoyed about the glorious splendour which resteth on her, and accureth to her, and she proceedeth in the vesture of Yazatag Manda Dihia, and went on and reached the watch house of detonation, of 4 beings, sons of perfection, in Hai, Sumhai, Zivhai, and Nubarahai. Each of these beings clothed her with his radiance, and each covereth her with his light. Garment on garment she putteth on, with garment after garment doth she clothe herself. When she puts on the vesture of the sons of perfection, she laugheth, rejoiceth, leapeth for joy, danceth, exulteth, and is overjoyed about the glorious splendour, the honour resting on and belonging to her. She proceeded in the vesture of Yazatag Mandadihia, and went onwards and reached the waters of death. The waters covered her, but radiance crossed over. His name abode in his Shinkta, honoured and chosen. He created himself, and said, Life, I am thine, and for thy name's sake came I forth from the world of Patil, from amongst evil plots, and from beneath the throne of Abathar, the ancient, so that we Trey bring out this soul of En, of this Mesquida, so that she cometh before him. He is the ray of the great radiance of life, a being who resteth upon the Shinkta, and upon Shinkta doth his name rest. He graspeth her with the palm of his right hand, and handeth her over to two Uthras, sons of light, to Adatan and Yadatan, of one Gnosis and one mind, and Adatan and Yadatan hand her over to two Uthras, to Usahai and to Ptahai, who open the door of life, plant the plant of life, and establish the first counterpart of the house of life. They raise her up beside the living, they bring her in the likeness of life, they support her in the place where radiance like light flameth, and the spirits of En went and became of the same nature as the soul, and was established in the house of life, and life is victorious. Chapter 50. Rightly did the Baptist baptize me in the waters of Yelaz, for their spring is Hamelai. My name is Kasar Hamelai. is spoken, disseminated, guarded, hidden and pure. They, the waters, knew the source from which they proceeded. Its name was on the sky, its glory on the earth. For upon treasure in treasure, the great life existed, and was fulfilled in its glory. I sit on a perfected garment, and by the great fountainhead of Yakabahia, beneath a vine which riseth above me. Praise of life standeth before me. Who will manifest himself, and come and speak to me? I am he who is manifest, for I am great. The life that is beneath me is divine, which riseth above me. Praise of life standeth before me. This is my name, and my sign, which I receive from waves of water, and from treasures of radiance, and from the great and lofty mixing bowl. And life is victorious. Chapter 51. In the name of the life. I am baptized in the name of the strange life, the sublime being, above all works. I am established in the name of treasure of light. I looked upon the life, and the life looked upon me, and in the life put I my trust. When this the soul of N casteth off her bodily garment, she shall put on the dress of life, and become a facsimile of the great life in light. Yahweh from the house of life revealed himself, and shone forth, establishing his counterpart, transplanting the great life in his light. The worlds thrust at us, but we fell not, backed by thy truth. We have confidence. The first sprout hath burst forth a ray of the great radiance of life in its triumphs. Truth, Kusta, and the great source, Kana, of its glory, and life be praised. Chapter 52. Whose son am I of, the guarded manna, who is Usmir, the first great radiance, son of the great primal life, who pondered and went forth seeking his own, that which came from him. The congregation of souls on the last day, when departing from their bodies, rejoice in him, embrace him, and rising up, behold the outer ether and the enduring abode, and praise the great life in its light. And life is victorious. Chapter 53. A letter, union and victory have come to this soul of N from the house of life. Its fastening is water, its ref is light, its weapon the living word, and its seal the chosen, the pure one. Every man who openeth it and readeth therein shall live, be whole, and his name will be set up in the house of life, in the name of the great sublime life, and the first life is established in its sphincter. This is the seal of the Mesquita. Up to this point, recite the Mesquita, and here take the fitter and break off a morsel from one upper fitera and the undermost fitera, and bring a portion of the bar and fold them together, and mingle the water of prayer with the wine, and recite over them, Yakasa chose her the soul, who passeth over, and recite, the life spoke and opened, and part thy pandama, and eat thy fitter, and drink thy mambaha, and recite, the water of life burst forth in splendour in its sphincter. Chapter 54. Yaksa chose her that passeth, crosseth over. He chose her, called her forth, and established her. He clothed her in radiance, ineffable, and brought light abounding, and covered her therewith. He raised her up to the great place of life, and the everlasting abode, and in his own sphincter, the dead man's soul, was assigned a place, and found rest in his treasure. Living waters, water of life, from the house of life, burst forth in splendour, and like them shall shine forth the souls who are called upon, raised up, and signed in this Mesquita, the souls of our fathers, teachers, brothers, and sisters, who have departed the body, and of those who still live in the body. They shall rise upward on a smooth road, and by the path of the perfect shall behold the place of light, and the everlasting abode, and he established by him who opened, revealed the great first light, and life is victorious. Chapter 55. The great life spoke and revealed, opened with his mouth, in his own radiance, light and glory, and life be praised. This is for the loosing of the pandama. Recite this Yakasa, chose her who passeth over the water of prayer and wine, when they are mingled together. If it is for several souls that he has recited, read as written. But if for a single soul, say, the soul of N shall be awakened, and say the great life spoke and opened with his mouth, and part thy pandama, eat thy fitta, and drink thy mambaha, and recite, the living water shone forth in its place. Then rise and read one prayer, alter another until the prayer Yakasa chose her that passeth over had been offered up. Chapter 56. In the name of the life. Living waters shone forth in splendour in their sphincter. The robes of the good were resplendent in their place. The great manna was dazzling bright in his glory. So too shall these living brightly shining, steadfast and vigorous souls shine in splendour in the great place of light and the everlasting abode. This is a prayer of dedication for the water of prayer. Chapter 57. Fragrant incense riseth to its place, and thou, life, be victorious. The forgiver of sins, trespasses, follies, stumblings, and mistakes, will forgive all those who love his name of truth. Kusta. Likewise, the soul of N, and life is victorious. A dedication prayer for the incense. Chapter 58. In the name of the life. Praise be the first life. Praise be the word of the first life. Praise be that radiance, light and glory. Praise be that light, which is boundless and endless, and none know when it came into being. Praise be the Lord of greatness, and praise be all the Uthras that stand to the right and left of the Lord of greatness, and praise the Lord of greatness. Praised be my Father Yahweh, praised be all the Uthras who stand and praise my Father Yahweh. Praise be that great first Jordan, in which the first life was baptized. Praise be all Jordans of living water. Praised be the fruits, grapes, and trees, which stand by them. Praised be all the mighty and lofty worlds of light. Praised be all those sanctuaries of the hidden, for in each and every scincter sit 1,000 uthras without end, and the myriad sanctuaries that are countless. Praised are those thousand uthras without end, and the myriad sanctuaries beyond count. Praised be all those banners of radiance, light and glory, unfurled before them which gave them light. Praised be the great gate of the house of Abathar. Praised be all Uthras who stand before Abathar and praise him. Praised be the 360 scales which are set up before the ancient Abathar. Praised be that first great scales that was set up before Abathar, the ancient. Praised be that great occult drop from which he proceeded. Praised be all Uthras who sit upon thrones of rest and recite audiences and mesquitas and secret prayers. Praised be those recitations, mesquitas, and secret prayers in which the great life is praised. Praised be those priests who sit with them. Praised be all mountains of radiance, light and glory. Praised be all roads and paths of light. First life, lift up thine eyes upon these souls called upon, raised up and signed in this mesquita, and the souls of our father, brothers, and sisters who have departed the body, and of those who still tarry in the body. Deliver them, save them, and protect them from this world of the wicked, and from those watch houses, purgatories. Let thy mercy, great first life, rest upon them, and ye shall say, life is established in its indwellings, and life is victorious. This is an offering up of supplications. It is the directory prayers of the mesquita. Pray, we have acknowledged praises, thee thyself, raising eyes, and I sought to raise my eyes. If thou recitest for several souls, read as written. If it is one soul, say, lift thine eyes upon the soul of N. Chapter 59. Life is fulfilled in its own glory, and the great light established by its victories. This is the prayer offered up for the fitter. Chapter 60. The great life dwelleth in those that love him, and his devotees dwell in the great place of light and the everlasting abode. And life be praised. This is the directory prayer for the Mamboha. Chapter 61. An earthly ref fadeth, but the ref of life is fresh and living. The ref of an elect righteous man is set and shineth on the heads of those who love the name of truth, Kusta. The ref is from the world of light, and the robe from the everlasting abode. The other ref is set with its purities, and shineth on the heads of these souls of this mesquita, and life is victorious. This is the prayer put up for the ref of a Mesquita, if thou recitest for several souls, read as written, but if for a single, say, on the head of this soul of N. Chapter 62. The worlds glisten with costly oil, but Nazareans shine with the radiance of life, and life is victorious. Chapter 63. In great radiance am I immersed, and in steadfast light am I established. Manda baptized me, Kusta confirmed me, a letter, communication, communion, and purity came to me from the house of life. Its fastening is water, its ref is light, its weapon the living word, and its seal the chosen pure one. Every man who openeth it and readeth therein shall live, shall be whole, and his name will be set up in the house of life, in the name of the great sublime life, from worlds of light, and life is victorious. This is the prayer offered up for the Mesquita oil. Chapter 64. The life dwelleth in its own radiance and light, and life be praised. This is the confirmation of the prayer Yakasa chose her who passeth over. Here recite, ye are set up and raised up, and the Mesquita hymns. Chapter 65. Ye are set up and raised up into the place where the good are established amongst manners of light. The souls called upon and raised up and signed by this Mesquita, and the souls of our fathers, our teachers, our brothers and our sisters, who have departed the body, and of those who are still living in the body. Your manners shall be set up in the light, and ye will be established in the light, and life is victorious. Chapter 66. In the name of the life, I am crowned with a wreath, and lay me down in a dress, in which there is no blemish, no spot is there in the dress, nor is there aught missing or lacking in it. The life knew about me. Adam, who slept, awoke. He grasped me with the palm of his right hand, and gave not into my hand a palm branch. Light cast me into darkness, but the darkness was filled with light. The day that light ariseth, darkness returneth to its place. The souls of this Mesquita approach a cloud of light. Their journey is to the place of light, and life be praised. This is a Mesquita hymn. Chapter 67. With him, with the deliverer, the souls of this Mesquita will ascend. They will behold the place of light and their everlasting abode. On their road the seven will not detain them, nor will the judge of the false question them. The life will count you in his reckoning, and the good will set you up in their midst. To the place to which the good go, they will guide you, and in the place in which they stand, they will set you up. Lamps of radiance are found before you, beams of light behind you. Kusta will come at your right, and piety will smoothen your path. For you, there will be loosenings. From here to the everlasting abode, for the ferry which ferries over the elect will set out toward you and take you across. Then from Abathar of the scales, A Saviour will come forth towards you. The Saviour that cometh towards you is all radiancy and light, from head to foot, like the ref in his right hand. And on his 2 arms is a robe. Bestir yourselves, put on your robes. Put on your living refs, gird on your girdles, in which nothing is arrayed or blemished. Above your head there will be fruit, and there, at your time and season, your manners will be set up in the light. Your manners in the light will be set up. So rise up, behold the place of light, and life is victorious. Chapter 68. Between the hidden and the radiance, between light and the Uthras, between the hidden and the radiance, stand those who question the soul, saying to her, Speak, say soul, who constructed thee? Who was thy builder? Who built thee, and who was the being thy creator? The soul spoke and said, The edified, well-constructed soul spoke, and saith to the being who questioneth her, said to him, My father, one built me, one constructed me, one was the being who transplanted me. One of the sons of salvation, in his goodness, accepted his lot duty. He folded me in a wrapping of radiance, took me and gave me over to Adam. Adam in his simplicity, whilst he knew not nor understood, took and cast me into a physical body. Took me and cast me into a physical body. That is all sour and bitter fluids and decaying substances. There the soul remaineth and waiteth in the hostel of the body, which he had bequeatheth her, sitteth and watcheth over it, till its measure and account were accomplished. When its measure and count were accomplished, the deliverer came to her. To her came the deliverer, who loosed her and bore her away. Yea, he who had bound her, who had loosed the soul, went before her whom he had bound. Coming behind him, the soul hasted, reached her deliverer, ran after him, who had bound her to her dwelling. The soul and her deliverer go. Her course is to the place of light, to the place whose sun goeth not down, nor do its lamps of light grow dim. To it and to that place, those souls that are called upon in this mesquita, and signed by this sign, are summoned and invited. They shall behold the great place of light, and the abiding abode, and life be praised. Chapter 69. Bliss and peace there will be on the road which Adam attained. Bliss and peace there shall be on the road which the soul traverseth. The soul hath loosed her chain and broken her bonds. She hath shed her earthly garment. She turned round, saw it, and was revolted. She uttered an evil curse on the being who had clothed her in the body. She provoked the farmer of bodies. She roused him from the lair in which he lay. She said to him, "Rise up, look, farmer of bodies. The hollow of thy hand is filled with water." The voice of the farmer of bodies is heard, who howleth and weepeth for himself, and saith, "Woe is me, that the hollow of my hand is filled with water." And to her he saith, "Go in peace, daughter of the free, whom in the house of evil ones they call handmaiden. Go in peace, pure pearl, that was transported from the treasuries of life. Go in peace, fragrant one who imparted her fragrance to the stinking body. Go in peace, radiant one who illuminated her dark house. Go in peace, pure and chosen one, immaculate and spotless." Flying the soul went, until she reached the house of life. She arrived at the house of life. Uthras went forth towards her, saying to her, "Take and put on thy robe of radiance, and set on thy living breath. Arise, dwell in the scincters, the place where Uthras abide conversing, and life is victorious, and triumphant is mandean, and lovers of his name, and life be praised." Chapter 70. Blessed and praised be life, who is filled with compassion for these souls. Praised be thou, my Lord, mandean, for thou raisest up these souls and dost not condemn them. Praised be thou, pure Yashamin, for thou wilt give them thy helping hand. Be ye praised, Shumai and Nibai, for ye will give true witness concerning them. And be ye praised, Hibil, Shetil, and Anush, for ye will ransom them from the house of Duz, and from Abatha of the scales. For towards you will go forth a messenger, and the messenger who goeth towards you is all radiance and light from head to foot. In his right hand a kind of ref, and both his arms a robe. Up, put on your robes, set on your living refs, gird on your girdles that are flawless and faultless. Above your heads there will be fruit, and your lamps will hang amongst lamps of light, and will shed light. The Lord of tolls will not confront you, nor will lying judges put you to the question. They will bring you liberating words. From here unto the everlasting abode, the building that was built for you in the house of life will not come to naught in an age of ages. And may some of Mandadehia's radiance and light, and the rarefying breath of life rest upon us. Blessed is the voice of life, and praised be the great beam which is all light, and life be praised. After thou hast recited, the life dwelleth in its own radiance and light. Ye are set up. I am crowned with a ref, and lay me down with him, with the deliverer, between the hidden and the radiance, Bliss and peace there will be, my vigilance and my praise giving. Go in peace, pure chosen one. Well, well, is it for thee, soul, and the other hymns? As many as thou art able, then recite. The blessed and praised is life of Shem, son of Noah. If thou readest for several souls, read it as written. But if only for one soul, say the soul of N, and pay attention with all watchfulness, clearness of mind, and studious attention, and recite good is the good for the good. Perform kusta with one another, and recite in great radiance am I immersed. And pray a prayer for yourselves, and make fitter and mambaha for yourselves, and eat your fitter, and drink your mambaha, and offer up the prayer. Good is the good for the good. Perform kusta with one another for yourselves, and then honour your crowns, and life is victorious. Chapter 71. In the name of the life, blessed and praised be the life. Blessed and praised be the name of the life in the place of life. Blessed and praised art thou, my Lord Mandadihia, thou and thy strength, thy radiance, thy light, thy glory, and thy help. Praise art thou, my Father, Yushamin the pure, son of transplanting of the mighty life. Praised art thou, second life, life that is from life. Praised are ye, Shilmai and Nidbai, guardian Uthras of the Jordan. Praised are ye, Nasab and Anan Nashab. Praised are our fathers, Hibil, Shetil, and Anush, the name and chief of the whole race. Praised art thou, lofty Abathar, blessed and established in the great Skincter, in which thou sittest. Praised are ye, four beings, sons of perfection, who go to meet the good. Go forth to meet the good, and clothe the good with robes. Praised art thou, earth of light, and blessed and praised those who dwell in thee. Blessed art thou, road of the great path of the perfect, and track that riseth up to the place of light. Blessed art thou, Nasarutha, from whom the elect learn. From thee learn the elect, and deal out reward and pious gift. They deal with reward and pious gift, and rise up, and behold the place of light. Praised art thou, Jordan of living water, for from thee we obtain purity. We obtain purity from thee, and receive the pure sign. My fathers beheld the life, and my teacher the place of light. The Uthras of light are victorious, and victorious Abathar, and the sons of perfection, who stand praising the life. Enlargement of life there shall be for the believing, who have departed out of our midst, the believers, the poor, the lowly, and priest. And my Lord Mandadihia will lend them his helping hand. Thankfully received are the good gifts, Tabata of life, the good gifts of life and of knowledge of life, the filler, that bit's missing, at the name of the life. For any man who giveth an oblation, his oblation will be his helper, elect and perfect men, who bestow oblations will rise by Custa's path, to them it shall be given. Of the etheref they twisted them a ref of speech and hearing of joy, purity, goodness and greatness. A ref from the vine, ras he, will set on the heads of those souls called on, signed and raised up by this Musquida, and the souls of our fathers, our teachers, our brothers and our sisters, of those who have departed the body, and those who are yet in the body. A ref like that, set on its head by the great life, and by the great life giving to Uthras, and giving by Uthras to their priest. Healer, whose medicine is water, come. Be thou a healer to thy devotees. To thy devotees be thou a healer, and to him that giveth oblation be thou a helper. On him whom thou hast healed, do thou, my Lord, bestow soundness. Behold him who standeth before thee, and condemn him not. My Lord, High King of light, revealer whose eyes are uncovered, seeking justice, and in enacting justice for those who love it. Do justice on those who persecute us, those persecutors who pursue us, and on the wicked and furious ones who scheme to work evil upon us. If it please thee, High King of light, look on us and condemn us not. Behold these souls who believe in thee, and for thy name's sake stood by on earth, and were persecuted. Show us pure ether air, so that we may forget earthly persecution, that we may forget the persecution of earth, and the vexation of the wicked and liars. Strengthen our insight, our voice, our vigilance, and our praise. Thereby the great life communed with thee, and set thee up completely with his radiance and his light, mandean here. And may the vivifying power of light rest upon us. My elect ye shall say, blessed be the voice of light, and praised be the great beam, which is all light, and life be praised. This is the blessed and praised be the life of Shem, son of Noah. Afterwards, read here, blessed and praised be life of the souls, and then recite, good is the good for the good. Good is the good for the good, and his nature is set upon those who love his name. We will seek and find, speak and be heard. We have sought and found, have spoken and have been heard in thy presence, my Lord, mandean here, Lord of all healings. Forgive him his sins, trespasses, follies, stumblings and mistakes, and those of him who furnished this bread, Musquida and ritual food, my Lord, mandean here. And thou, great first life, forgive the sins, trespasses, follies, stumblings and mistakes of the donors of fee and oblation, and their wives, children, their priest, and those who brought this bread and food. Likewise, you, my parents, teachers, instructors, and preceptors, when ye support from the left to the right, and ye shall say, life be established in its dwellings, and life be praised. Life is victorious over all works. Recite this. Good is the good for the good. When thou readest a Mesquita, when thou performest a baptism, recite it. When thou distributest oil, recite it. When thou recitest the Ramia, devotions, recite it. And after the Rahimia, and recite it, when thou partakest of the ritual dish, and life is victorious. The Letter, Chapter 73. In the name of the life, a sealed letter which leaveth the world, a letter written in good faith, Kushta, and sealed with the seal of the mighty life. Righteous men wrote it, believing men tied it on and suspended it about the soul's neck, and dispatched it to the gate of life. The soul in her wisdom pressed her nail on the letter. Her nail she pressed on the letter. She imbued it with her mystic radiance, wrapped it and veiled it in her light. How came it that Daim saw that the soul bore a letter? How was it that Daim saw it? As her 7 sons gathered about her, and said, Who hath written the letter? Whose secret no man knoweth? Who wrote the letter that is sealed in by these protective strands? The letter is written in good faith, and sealed with the seal of the mighty life. Righteous men wrote it, believing men tied it on, and hung it about the neck of the soul, and dispatched it to the gate of life. The soul filleth and goeth until she hath reached the watch house of the 7, the chief of Jews. When he saw her, and the governor, when they saw her, murmur discontented, and say, Who hath written the letter? Whose secret no man knoweth? Who wrote letter that is sealed by these protective marks? The letter is written in good faith, and sealed with the seal of the mighty life. Righteous men wrote it, believing men tied it up, and hung it about the neck of the soul, and dispatched it to the gate of life. The soul filleth and travelleth on, until she reacheth spirits of purgatory. The spirits of purgatory abased their heads, and the soul passed the purgatory spirits by. The soul flieth and goeth until she came to the waters of death. As she reached the waters of death, there came forth towards her a great beam of radiance and of life, who grasped her by the palm of her right hand, and brought her over the waters of death. The soul flieth and goeth until she reached the house of life. When she reached the house of life, she uttered a cry to the house of life. And when he heard her call, the life sent a messenger towards her, who grasped her by the palm of her hand, conducted her, and came to support her in the likeness of the life to the place of radiance, light and beams of effulgence, to unite her to the company of Uthras, and to set her up amongst beams of light. Upon her head they placed a wreath of ether, and took her out of the world in splendour. Life supported life. Life found its own. It hath found its own, and my soul hath found that for which she hoped, and life is victorious. Up to here recite over the flask of oil as it is put into clay, up to the mouth of the bottle, and the clay must be pure and from the Jordan. Chapter 74. Bound, secured, and sealed are the spirit and soul of En by the seal of Kushta and the great safeguard of truth, by the word of Kushta and the raising power of Yakabaziwa, and life is victorious. This is the conclusion of the letter. Set, press thy seal ring and the nail of thy little finger of thy right hand into the clay, seal it, and read this conclusion over it, and life is victorious. Shouldst thou wish to administer oil to a dying person, at the beginning and end, order the chief, relative, or remaining persons of the family to throw water over the dying person. If he is a mandean, layman, they shall purify the hand of the dying person and pour oil on it, and sign it with 3 signings, and he shall join with him, and shall place his hand on his mouth, and then put the dying person's hand on his mouth. If immediate death is near, at the place where they apply the oil, they shall cleanse with water and purify him, and bring him proxies, those like him. In the name of the great life, health and victory be mine, Adam Yohana, son of Manush. When thou wishest to administer unction to anyone leaving the body, dying, say, in the name of the great life, union and renewal of life, and forgiving of sins be there for this soul of En, son of En, of this letter and Mesquida, and bring a clean new bottle, never before used. Press out pure oil and place in it, when enough, twine a wreath of myrtle about the bottle, and set it before thee, and recite for thy crown, in the name of that first being, and set thy crown on thy head, and recite besides thy crown, life created Yawazua, let there be light, and Manda created me for thy crown, and recite, strengthened and enchanced is the great mystery of radiance, light and glory, and bind thy pandama over thy mouth, and take the phial into thy hand, and recite, water of life art thou, over the bottle, and recite hail to the first life for the incense, and cast incense on the fire, and recite, we have acknowledged praises to thee, and raising my eyes, and the bottle shall be in thy hand, and recite, I sought to raise eyes, and at the place where it says, wilt wipe away and remove from En his sins, trespasses, follies, stumblings, and mistakes, and cast them into the hells of earth, and into the nethermost abandons of darkness, and wilt raise him up as guiltless, and not as guilty, and as virtuous, and not as vicious before thee, mandean, with thy radiance. Thou wilt clothe him, and with thy light thou wilt cover him, and wilt set thy living wreath on his head, the head of this, the soul of N. And take care that thou readest to the end with attention. And recite the 8 prayers for the fitter over the bottle, and 2 prayers for the mana. Cover the bottle with the clay, and take thy seal ring with 3 of thy fingers, thy thumb, and the finger next thy thumb, and the little finger, and recite the sealed letter which leaveth the world, and at the place where it saith, a letter written in good faith, and sealed with the seal of the mighty life. Seal with thy ring, and the nail of thy little finger, and until the end let thy seal and the nail of thy little finger rest in the clay, and recite, bound and sealed are the spirit and soul of N, with the seal of Kushta, and the great safeguard of strength in the word of Kushta, and the raising up of Yakaba Ziwa. Over the bottle, and recite over the myrtle wreath, the light became light, enlightened and enlightening, and place the bottle on his head. Recite, mandean went to the stars, his appearance loosed over the bottle, and take with thy forefinger some oil from the mouth of the bottle, and recite, in the name of the strange sublime life, this the glory where it saith, and Serial, the releaser cometh, who releaseth spirit and soul, say of N, and at mouth of the bottle, and where it saith, the spirit of N went and became like the soul, and was raised up into the house of life, and life is victorious. Sign the mouth of the bottle, and recite, truly did my baptizer baptize me. I am baptized in the name of the life, and whose son am I of the guarded. And lift thy seal ring, thy nail, and thy little finger from it, and set it before thee, and recite, praised be the first life. And at the place where it says, lift thine eyes, say upon N, and thy panadamas, light, insert the soul of N, is established in that place, must be over thy mouth, and recite, ye are set up and raised up in the place where the good are established amongst, and recite, I am crowned with a wreath, and lay me down with him, with the deliverer. Between the hidden and the radiance, bliss and peace there will be on the road which Adam attained. My vigilance and praise. Go in peace, chosen, pure, and guiltless one, in whom there is no spot. The manna rejoiceth in his treasure. Well is it for thee, well is it for thee, soul that departed from the world. Sunday and Kushta and oblation, I am provided and provisioned. He rose and took me up with him, the day that the soul goeth forth, and ye are set up and raised up, my chosen. And recite the blessed and praise be life for the souls, and here recite the blessed and praised is life of Shem, son of Noah. And where it saith, to you it shall be given of the Ethereth, say to En, son of En, it shall be given. And recite, good is the good for the good. Ask mercy for him, and remit his sins, and his trespasses, and give it to him, to whom thou givest it, and grasp in Kushta the hand of him who holdeth the hand of the dying person, and say to him, this Kushta which I entrust to thee, do thou convey it to Abathar. If it is urgent to carry him away, bestir thyself. Hurry when thou recitest the sealed letter which leaveth the world, and bound and sealed are the spirit and soul of En. Give him that which thou givest him, and take in Kushta the hand of him who taketh the hand of the dying person, and say to him, this Kushta I speak to thee. Do thou speak it to Abathar. The pandama must be over thy mouth. Then thou shalt recite, the first life be praised. Ye are set up and raised up, and so on, till the good is the good for the good, just as I tell thee. Offer up for him the devotional prayers, hymns, and the raising prayers of the Mesquitta from beginning to end. And be careful to insert the name of him to whom thou didst administer the oil. Let nothing be lacking, and recite with attention and care, and life is victorious. Then, when thou holdest thy pandama over thy mouth, pray for thyself, make fitter and mandaha for thyself. Recite the great life spake and opened their mouth, and eat thy fitter mandaha, and recite, life is full, and the great life dwelleth for thyself, and recite, good is the good for the good, and perform the kushta rite for thyself, and honour thy crown, and drink thy, and beware, and beware, lest thou begin any of the loosing prayers without thy pandama. Do it only after thou hast made petitions for thyself, and life is victorious. This is the benediction of oil which Biram Rabba, son of Adam, celebrated for his mother Hawa, wife of Adam, when she departed the body, whilst Hibil Ziwa sat before them. This benediction of oil was in the Diwan of Ramia, son of Kumat, of the town Tib, written by Zazai di Gawazata, son of Hawa, and Bayan Hibil, son of Brikyawa, wrote it. Here he distributed it with these books amongst 100 Nazareans. From his own Diwan, which he had copied from Ramia, son of Kumat, Diwan, that was found in the possession of Hanaya, daughter of Yahia, and Benai, son of Zakiah. And Bayan Hibil, son of Brikua, said, just as it is written, I wrote it, and all the mysteries of the oil were therein, as far as Jerusalem, the city of the Jews. Their mysteries, sacramental ceremonies are like these, and life is victorious. Exhort those who administer the oil to be careful. If he, the apparently dying person, doth not depart the body. Let them bring to thee, recite in great radiance am I immersed. Break open the seal, bear it away, and throw it into the Jordan. And when thou administerest oil, beware lest thou make a mistake. If thou hast committed an error, it will need a mesquida of the 60 for him on whom the oil falleth, and it will be well. If impossible to carry him, read a 60 mesquida for him, with 7 food trays, and at that which is with her, sign him at the house of Abathar, sign him. If the soul be that of a good pious person, one who hath people who will do good after him, bring priest and celebrate 60 mesquidas for him, in full with everything, in the upraising of the 60, sign him alone at the words, Madama at the words bit Abathar, sign him alone, and in the last upraising, sign him alone at bit Abatar, and then sign the souls of our fathers. For a mesquida, thou requirest meat, water of prayer, incense, fitter, hammerer, ref and oil. And in on the 7 trays, place there all that thou wishest in the trays together, with those mysteries named above. And when there is a mesquida, read the homilies about the soul. Let them be many, and be compassionate. It is good, beneficial, for a soul on whom oil falleth. Recite over him, and over the 7 rabba, and pray for mandeans, Nazareans, and the faithful, and pray the mesquida fitter, and mamaha, the bindings and loosings of the mesquida prayers we have acknowledged. Praises thee, lifting eyes, I sought to raise eyes, and all the appointed prayers for the from beginning to end. Be careful, make inquiry, display kindness, show compassion during the homilies, and loose him from his sins, and life is victorious. Then Hibil Zira taught and said, great disgrace will fall on any Nazarene who, whilst reading the mesquida, openeth his pandama, or adulterates the water of prayer. He will not behold his Creator, and will be smitten with that blow which was administered to the first eldest one, because he sinned and blundered before his parents. And I, Hibilzua, will not reckon him amongst my own, nor count him as one of my own. And Hibilzua said, any Nazarene who holds to the pandama, and doth not adulterate the water of prayer, as long as he remaineth in the body, shall have increased speech and a hearing, because he hath neither removed nor changed aught of that which his fathers commanded him, nor hath he performed the acts of Yashamin, or rendered a portion to the well Samag, nor did he stand in the heat of the well Samag. Every man who celebrateth these mysteries must hold where the pandama. When he holdeth his pandama, all the creatures of darkness are turned back from his presence. His appearance will shine, and all that he hath done will be confirmed by us, and life is victorious. This is the book of Gandana, which Hibil Ziwa gave to the chosen elect, which I have copied for myself. I am poor, lowly, childlike, and striving, one whom the 7 and 12 persecute, one of the root of the first life, one insignificant amongst my fellow priest, and Ganzabris, earth beneath the feet of Nazareans, and dust beneath the feet of the pious. I, a slave who is all sin, copied the book of Gandana for myself, so that there should be someone to commemorate my name on earth, and yonder in the celestial worlds of light. For my heart hath loved the life, and mine eyes wait upon mandean, who will be to me a support, a deliverer, and a rescuer from the sons of Krun, and I testify to the life and to my Lord mandean with a true and faithful heart. I am Rabbi Adam Yohana, son of Bihiram, son of Sadan, son of Masadan, Kamisha by name, Rishdraz. I copied it for myself from the book of a righteous and upright woman, a believing creature whose mind is pure. In it there is no lechery, lust or harlotry. She consecrated herself to love of truth, Kushta, and copied this book of Gandana, so that there should be for her a comminator on earth and in the mighty celestial worlds of light. Yonder she was my own paternal grandmother. Her baptismal name was Anaha, daughter of Shaharat. May there be for her enlargement of life, and the name by which she was called by was Dia, daughter of Adam, son of Zahad Uri. She copied it from the copy of the great, lofty, and respected Ram Yahana, son of Yahia Zirun, son of Razirun, son of Adam, son of Ar, Yahia Adam, son of Ar, Shetil, son of Aram, son of Ar Zekiah, son of Ar Yahia, son of Ar Zekiah, son of a father of Ganzabras, Mahalam, son of Ar, Sam, known as Mandean, family name Kuma, black. He copied it from the book of the great and lofty, respected Yahia Zirun, son of Ar Yahia Biram, son of Ar Adam, son of Yahia Adam, known as Mandean, family name Kuma. He copied it for a Shahamana, the craftsman, Hadayat, son of the craftsman, Kushum, son of Biram, son of Zakiah, of the sons of the Dehidraria tribe, family name of Saba, from the book of Ar, Zirun, son of Ashta Faruk, Ashta Nuruz, his baptismal name being Biram, son of Adam Yohana, son of Berahia, son of Zirun, son of Yahia Anush. Son of the great and lofty respected Maharam, son of Yahia Benaim, son of Yahana Sharan, of the sons of the Dehidria family, named Saba. He copied from Wasiya. He copied it from a book, copied by Biharam Behia, son of Adam Zakiah Berihia, son of respected master builder of knowledge and understanding, a noble and distinguished Ganzibra, an highly distinguished family. Our teacher, Yahya Birhim, son of a father of Ganzibras, Sam here, forgive him his sins, for he was kindly and long-suffering, and wrote this book so that there should be commiseration for him on earth and yonder in the world of light. And he copied it with the rubrics which had been copied by the great, lofty, respected and reliable Ganzibra Zirun, son of Berhia, son of Bakatia, son of Adam Biram, family name Kohilia May Mandadihia. Forgive him his sins. He copied it for Sam Yahana, son of Mahatam Bulba, son of Sam, family name Ashkahir, from the book of Adam Bakatia, son of Yahya, Zakaria, Zirun, son of Johanna, Shitilan, family name Rishdraz. Bits missing. Zakiah, son of Niniah, and Adam Sabah, said, I went to Bit Hertia and travelled around a great deal, but found no reliable masquida equal to this masquida. When I saw that it was reliable, I wrote this masquida just as it was. And any priest or mandean who prays shall hold to this masquida. And now, ye priests who hold to it, be staunch to this masquida, so that there may be forgiveness for your sins, and the life and Mandadihia, and all the Uthras, sons of light, will be your helpers. But we will abandon and not approach any man untrue to it, and life is victorious. Peace and love, everyone, peace and love. Now today, I want to discuss, did Jesus survive his execution? Now this is called the swoon theory. Now, also known as swoon theory. Now, there's hints of this in the Gospels, that Jesus survived. And this is a more scientific approach to it, a more realistic approach. Now, in the Gospels of Mark, Matthew, Luke and John, they all have different events, in a sense. Now, the beating of Jesus wasn't actually as bad as what they show in the Passion. This is more just propaganda. It just mentions that he was whipped, and they spat on him and mocked him. And they placed a crown of thorns on him. Some stories mention they blindfolded him and hit him. Now, what's interesting was this elixir that was given to Jesus. And none of the Gospels are clear exactly what it is. Some mention, like John, it's wine. Matthew mentions a wine mixed with some bitter substance. Mark mentions it's wine and a drug mixed with myrrh. So over in India, they had a drink that they could drink that could put the state of death in the sense, but merely knock you out and make it look like you were dead. So there's stories of even Jesus traveling to India. Now, what's also interesting is that he was on the cross for 6 hours. It takes days to die. So it's possible that he could have survived. Another interesting note is in Luke, they anoint his body with oil and herbs. So most likely the holy oil he was rubbing on his followers, and once he's told his disciples, rub on anyone you find is sick. So though very painful, these herbs and oil could have healed him. Now, he was also stabbed with a spear in the side to check if he was dead because of his short time. So you also have to think after that he rose after 3 days. He apparently spent 40 days with them before ascending to heaven. So that's about a month. So he could have died from his injuries. Now, the Gnostic scriptures mention Jesus stayed with them for 4 years before ascending to heaven. So he could have possibly died from his injuries and survived the crucifixion. Now, relatively speaking, with his injuries that he's taken, in today's medical science, we could save the man. You could be surprised on medical injuries that you could be saved from if you are under the right spick of time being seen. Now, medicine has obviously rapidly increased since back then, but though we have had the means back then to still save the man. Now, the ancient Jews, some of them believed that Jesus survived the execution, the crucifixion, and went off and lived a normal life in the Middle East somewhere with his family. Muslims believe that he either survived or was substituted with another man to make it look like it was him. Now, on the shroud, they've actually got holy oil on that shroud. So painful, he could have still arose, and that's still miracle in my eyes in the sense that he survived. Now, this being said, it was his message that really mattered. It was telling you your divine spark within you. He was teaching unconditional love. And that's the ultimate message that really matters. So, back then, this would have been a big deal, seeing someone that appeared to be dead and survived and rose up. And this could have started a whole new religion in a sense as well. But Yeshua wasn't ultimately after a new religion. He was ultimately trying to defeat religion, trying to get rid of it, abolish it, giving power to the people, saying you've got your own connection to the divine. You don't need religion. So you don't really need religion. You just need to go from within yourself and discover who you truly are. He even said that together we can do greater things than him. And so you have a message here that's telling you to be the best version of you that you possibly can be. So yes, I believe he survived the execution or the crucifixion. Now, I don't see why not in a sense. And I see this more logical than being raised from the dead. I see the resurrection as symbolic, meaning that we all must go through life, death, rebirth in a sense. And not just reincarnation-wise, I also mean symbolically within yourself. So we're always about rebuilding ourselves and making ourselves new to become the best version of us that we can be in this life now. So peace and love, everyone. I love you all. Connect to one, mind and soul. Namaste. Peace and love, everyone. Peace and love. Now, today I want to talk about did Jesus survive the execution? This is also known as the swoon theory. Now, first off, I'm going to mention the movie of Jesus Christ, The Passion, where they show him getting whipped and blood everywhere. This is more Christian propaganda. Now, also apologetic propaganda as well. In the Bibles, it mentions that he was whipped, he was just beaten and spat on and mocked, and they placed a crown of thorns on him. And all the disciples differ, well, the Gospels, I should say, differ on the account. Now, some mention he was blindfolded and hit and mocked. Very different events. Now, in 3 of the Gospels, they mention this elixir or this drink that Jesus was given. And there's even theories to say this drink could have knocked him out. Now, they're not clear on what it is. In John, it mentions it's a wine. Matthew mentions a wine mixed with an unknown bittery substance. Mark mentions it being a wine and a drug myrrh mixed in together. Now, in Luke, after Jesus' crucifixion, they've mentioned that they've wrapped his body up in herbs and oil. Now, Jews don't actually do this. Now, this holy oil, what Jesus was telling, rub on anyone you find is sick, they have found this oil on the shroud as well. Now, though very painful, it could have healed him. Now, it takes days to die on the cross. He was on there for 6 hours. They stabbed him with a spear to make sure he was dead. So why would they do this? Because they weren't 100% too sure. So they've taken him off and they've wrapped him up in oil, which is something that the Jews don't do. Now, he also apparently rose after 3 days. He spent 40 days with them, so about over a month, after ascending to heaven. So he could have died from his injuries. The Gnostic writings mention he stayed 4 years with the disciples before ascending to heaven. Now, the ancient Jews believed that Jesus survived and lived somewhere in a normal life in the Middle East somewhere with his family. So Muslims believe that he either survived or that he was substituted with someone else. Now, another thing is if he was passed out and he had the treatment then and then, he could have survived. We can do stuff like this now. If Jesus was in our time, we could save the man, yes, if the treatment was right then and then on the right necessary time. So if you get the right treatment on the right time and even care, you can ultimately recover from injuries. Now, the resurrection to the Gnostics is seen symbolically, meaning that we all must do our own resurrection, be reborn, in a sense, which is about rebuilding yourself. And life, we must constantly go through our own rebuilding of ourselves, our own resurrection, in a sense, of be reborn. And this is also what the meaning of reborn is becoming the best version of you, the true you, discovering the divine spark within yourself. Now, it's the message of Yeshua, Jesus, that matters. And that was unconditional love, teaching others the divine spark within themselves, saying that you are gods, that together we can do greater things than him. So, you have a very compassionate man about unconditional love. And this is all that really matters, is the message. Yeshua was against religion. He was against the hierarchy. He was giving power to the people. This is what he supported. He supported your own personal path and unconditional love. He said that if you would simply love each other, you wouldn't need to hurt anyone. You wouldn't need to do the same shitty things that control everyone else. He said, pay your taxes. Don't let any of those sort of people bring you down. Ultimately, they don't know what they're doing. It's all a state of ignorance. So go from within yourself. This is the ultimate message. So resurrection, take it symbolically. With most writings, take it all symbolically. And with Jesus surviving, this is a much more realistic, scientific approach to it. And there is hints of this in the Gospels, as I mentioned, with the elixir, even with the wrapping him up in the linen cloth with the oil. And on the shroud, they found this oil. Now, in this oil, it's still used today medically. It contains cannabis, CBD, frankincense, myrrh, cinnamon, olive oil. And this can treat epilepsy, seizures, boost your immune system, and can be even used on cuts and stuff like this. It's an ointment. And Christos, Meshach, means anointed with oil or anointed with spirit, depending on your interpretations of this sort of text. Peace and love, everyone. I love you all. Connect to one, mind and soul. Namaste. So these prayers were arranged from the explanation of prayers of baptism and the Mesquitta, which was copied from the Diwan of Ramia, son of Kumat. Their father wrote it. Benaian Hibil, son of Brichyua, and our master Bayan, son of Zekiah. It was in his library, so that these injunctions were written by Bayan, son of Brichyua. He distributed these books here amongst 100 Nazareans from his own library, which he had copied from the Diwan of Ramia, son of Kumat, which was housed by Hanaya, daughter of Yahia, and Bean, son of Zekiah. For it was written in the town of Tib, and Zekiah copied it from the Diwan of Ramia, son of Kumat, and Yahia, copied from the Diwan of Sam, son of Anush, Yahia, and Sam copied from the Diwan of Biram, son of Brick Alaha, bits missing, and Anush copied from the Diwan of Quihim, son of Sharat, and Quihim copied from Quihima, son of Brick Alaha, and Quihimia copied from Shangada, son of Yasmin, and Shangaraha, son of Yasmin, copied from the Diwan Zazai di Gawatza Bur Hawa, and Zazai di Gawatza copied from the Diwan of the First Life. And Ramia, son of Kumat, said, from the day on which it fell from was written by Zazai di Gawatza, son of Hawa, till now. The years in which I wrote it is a space of 368 years in the ages. And Ramia, son of Kumat, said, I wrote this Diwan in the town of Tib, in the years when Anush, son of Dankwa, departed with the heads of the people, Ethnarchs, in the years when the Arabs advanced. Then Binan Hibil, son of Brichyua, wrote, I purified myself when I got possession of these mysteries, and I myself travelled around and went on foot 2 Nazareans, and took many Diwans Musquidas, and oil of unction. I have written them here, and have distributed them to 100 Nazareans, in order that they may hold to and be staunch to them from place to place. And now, where did I find mysteries as reliable as these mysteries of baptism? And now, ye priest, hold and abide by this end purpose, like Uthras of light, who stood by these mysteries, all of them, and confirmed it in a communion to which Yahweh is joined. And any man who doth not confirm this end conclusion, we will avoid and not approach him. He may go in his clothes and roll in his filth. His habitation will be the Samagwell. Then the writing of Ram Ziwa Biram, son of Binan. I have looked into the Diwan of the great wellspring of Ramia, son of Kumat. Any person who writteth the book of Gadana, and removeth any of the injunctions assigned and written therein, thou wilt place in clouds of darkness. And anyone who writteth a book of rejection, or removeth any of the injunctions written therein, so that they are broken, shall be cursed with a great curse. For this is the curse which the first life uttered and pronounced. Anyone who becometh hostile to the life shall die the second death of an enemy. He will belong to the darkness. He will fall, and for him there will be no uprising. But those who have not removed trust in the life or changed any part of that which they wrote and taught about any individual, he and his opinion, and have delivered them from their sins. Moreover, anyone who cuts a copy or extracts therefrom the name of its owner shall be cut off himself and sent to the watchhouse purgatories of the planets, and at the great judgment he will stand up, but Abathar will not take his hand in Kushta. Life is victorious over all works, and victorious is Yahweh and his helpers, his people, his priest, and his holdings, partitions, and life and all its works are victorious.